So,
How do you feel the story developed from the first time we talked, or from the last time we talked?
I feel like we definitely get more insight as to why he drinks and kind of how he started.
More of the reason you said before.
Yeah. You get like more of the backstory behind him. You know, it's not kind of like we're not putting together the puzzles anymore. We're kind of connecting the dots, getting that information filled in for us.
And more of a personal aspect on it.
Yeah.
too.
Instead of the general of been drinking.
Going back on the subject of, what do we think of the narrator's alcohol problem coming from his grandmother?
It's monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah,
Like,
Grow
It's
up
the
watching
way he
something.
was brought up, the environment he was brought up in, it probably had a pretty fat factor in his own developing alcoholism.
You watch
Because-
somebody do something for so long, especially
Especially your parents, dude,
your parents,
family.
your grandparents. That the grandparents really hits home.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
I mean, they're supposed to be the one that are supposed to take care of you
Yeah.
when your parents are.
and that's what I was about to say too. That you grow up watching something for so long, you start doing it yourself because you believe it's the right,
Yeah.
not the wrong, like you should be taught at a young age.
Not even that
anything
it's
else?
right. It's just that it helps.
That's
you know,
normal
you
for
see someone. You know, what do people do? You know, they relax after a long day by drinking. So
Yeah.
you know, they think, oh, I want to
Oh, you're
relax.
stressed out. Go get
I
a
want to
cigarette.
relax. Yeah. You know,
Mhm.
you're stressed out. Go do a shot, bro. I don't know. It's messed up. But anywho, why do you think he's so afraid of the church finding out that he's losing faith?
Because he's scared they'll kick him out, and he needs the church
He
to
needs.
basically ease his mind or take his mind off of drinking. Same with the book that he's doing with the book. He's using that as an outlet so he doesn't go and drink.
Yeah.
It's more of a, well, for me personally, it's a sign of faith, like that you're starting to believe in something else stronger than you are believing in the church. That something has to be driving you away from the church. You can't just be falling out from it. Like there has to be some sort of purpose that he's falling away from the church. Like for example, earlier on in the book, he said that something about his gin addiction was being replaced with a tea addiction. Like that just proves that he's the kind of person that it takes an ulterior motive to drag him away from a certain subject.
He can't just quit cold turkey. He needs something to replace it.
Which his replacement with the church could be his son. Like he could
Yeah.
replace with more time with his son or
Yeah, instead of
more
being
time
with
with
the
something
church.
else.
Anything to say, Chad? No?
He's also changing one addiction, trading one addiction for another. Like
Yeah.
he said, like
For a
he said,
healthier addiction.
Yeah, healthier addiction. Like he's getting rid of his gin addiction with the tea addiction,
Yeah.
and he could also be getting rid of his gin addiction partly with the church.
Right.
And then when his kid came, he was getting rid of the church addiction with his being around his kid, and
Yeah.
trying to take care of his kid.
With medical bill addiction.
Those were the addictions.
There's no money for the premium plate.
I don't think that's a good thing to be addicted to, is medical bills, but
Now, I know this subject's earlier on in the book, but I can't get my mind off of it. What do you guys think of the challenge of sobriety for him in the beginning?
the
It's
challenges
just
of sobriety-
it's when you're on a substance for so long, even if it's not addictive, it changes the way your brain works. Because you're not seeing things normally, you're seeing things with that chemical in your brain now.
Mhm.
So when you come off, when that chemical gets taken out of your brain, you're not going to necessarily be going through withdrawals, but it's not going to be the same.
Well, you will in a sense because your body's gonna get used to having that every day. Like it's like nicotine.
Right, but
Alcohol's like nicotine. You're gonna have that.
right,
you're
I'm
gonna want
talking
that
more
all the
general
time.
terms, like just
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
and then even aspirin.
You're also getting out of a routine.
Right,
Like that was your
right,
routine.
right, and
It's
a
hard to break
routine's
a bad
really
habit.
hard to break.
Exactly, because what are you going to do with that time that you spent doing
Right, you
this
don't you,
activity?
you don't know what to do anymore because like if you spent all your day just slamming down back a bottle all day every day and you couldn't do that anymore, you wouldn't know what to do. That's all you've known
You're
for the
gonna get
past.
bored and go back
That's
to doing what you were doing.
you've been slamming back bottles for the past how many years, and
Just one day
Exactly.
stop.
you can't just stop one day.
Yeah.
Your body's gonna kill you for it.
Exactly. The book doesn't exactly say that he has any other hobbies that he's very passionate about going on. So he can't really replace the time he's been spending
With more
drinking
behind, yeah.
with a hobby. Like for Jamie, for example, like if he were to quit doing, for example, I don't know, some sort of addictive substance, that he'd probably end up going down to work on a car or something else he enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
Just as an example.
But it's rough, man. I don't know how you would get anything done in that mindset, though.
Exactly.
If you think about it, it's like
Because
you go from talking to someone all day, like say your girlfriend, you go talk from her.
right, it's just like
and
a
then
breakup.
You guys
dude.
break up, and then there's nothing. You guys
Right.
break up, you're
Now you ain't got no. You're not talking to
not
nobody.
talking,
now.
but you don't know what to do with
Exactly,
yourself anymore.
and things just drags by.
Yeah,
You know,
the days get longer.
especially when you're coming off of an intoxicating substance,
Oh, yeah.
where you get messed up and you can't even remember half the things, anyways.
Now you remember everything.
Now you have to live in that moment, and you have to deal with all the consequences of your actions.
with him living in the moment and stuff like that. That may not be a bad thing.
Right, no,
especially with
it-
his kid, and especially with his kid having the medical problems.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if it said. I can't remember if it said anything about like his life expectancy. You never know with him
Right.
having medical problems.
Right. It's always a chance from just to get sloshed one time.
Do you feel like he's gotten more or a little bit more away from his addiction of alcohol since we started off?
That's pretty quiet.
I think it's getting better, but at the same time, there's always room for relapse.
Yeah.
As bad as it sounds, I don't want to be the guy.
It's Debbie Downer.
I'm not trying to be the bad guy, but 90% of the time people relapse.
Yeah, there's always that
Always.
chance that you're gonna.
It's almost like there's a strong wind pushing you back towards what you used to do.
It's the
So
addiction.
quitting is not easy. Like I said, a wind or like it's almost like someone has you by a rope and they're just pulling you back into it, but you have to fight against it.
Well, one bad thing happens, and then you go, well, when I was drinking, this wouldn't happen. This I never.
Oh yeah,
remembered this.
Exactly.
and that's what happens.
I never
You,
felt
you,
it.
you can give yourself a reason, no matter what.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
I stubbed my toe and that hurt. Oh wait, if I was drinking, I wouldn't have felt
I
that.
didn't felt it, so. It's not so
Yep.
bad.
Let's go back.
I mean, that's a small thing.
Right, it's a small
Still.
thing, but
It's a
it's
decent
just,
example.
Yeah.
It's just if I've been drinking, I wouldn't have had to felt that emotional
I wouldn't have
pain.
felt pain or anything. Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like
And I think that's a big ticket for most people, just not having to feel it.
for most stereotypical men in situations, people hit the bottle after like a marriage is broken up.
Yeah.
Say your wife just cheated on you and now you're going through that. It's like, well,
Nothing else
when
to turn to.
before I had met this woman, I was at the bar and I didn't feel this pain. So
Right.
I'm gonna jump back to that and hopefully I can abandon this pain. But there's always gonna be that mindset in the back of your head that's like, oh, if I can quit once, I can quit again. But that's not always necessarily true.
Yeah. We get you.
Definitely not true. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
My dad quit smoking when I was like 10. He thought, oh, I'll quit smoking again after my mom passed away. He started smoking again.
Yeah.
But I quit once, I'll quit again. He's still smoking. He's tried. He was a month clean, like a month off it, then he got in a fight with my stepmom and he tried to do it. So,
Yep.
like, he relapsed on smoking, basically.
Yep. It's just little trigger actions. Like for some things, it's a scent. Boom, that'll send you right back to drinking. You smell a cinnamon scented candle, there's Fireball right there. Like that makes you think of it. It's the feel of like a glass that can bring you back to drinking just like that. Like, oh, this tasted so much better when it had alcohol
Instead of water.
in it. Mm-hmm. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep. Instead of getting a glass of water, you're grabbing a glass of whatever. Very easily mixed up.
So how do y'all feel the discussion went?
Wonderful.
Sturtsy, how do you feel our discussion improved since last time?
Better than last time because there's more than 2 people.
There's more than 2 people here. I think we also did better on our research, and we also
Yeah, I think
we had a
the
more
understanding.
educated
Yeah,
conversation. I think.
we have more of a connection to it. Too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more the book goes on, the more you're going to get connected to it.
Yeah.
I believe. So yeah.
Snap, crackle, and pop.